What's up, guys? Welcome to the latest episode of the Always Race Day podcast presented by the Carl Group. Don't even ask me what day it is. It's 2 days after Knoxville. That's the only thing I know. I don't know what episode this is. I'm totally out. My body was not sore nor hungover until Monday, which I'm abhorrently very not happy about. But fun week. We'll get into it real quick. I want to thank our presenting sponsors at the Carl Group. They are amazing people, and they give us the opportunity to do what we do and deliver what I thought was our best 4 days of coverage in anything we've ever done in Always Race Day over Wednesday through Saturday at Knoxville. So I'm like dead, but I there's no place I'd rather be right now. So
Dead?
dead? Yeah. Well, sure.
You look alive.
You look pretty alive.
I'm all right.
You would rather be dead than anywhere else? That's kind of what I'm gathering.
Something like Damon, where the heck were you on Saturday? You might as well have been dead.
Might as well have, right?
We put you in the quiet track photo.
I noticed. I was there.
You look great. You look great.
I can't believe how much weight I lost from Thursday to Saturday.
It's just the hustle.
Oh,
We definitely missed you. We missed you.
So I don't have any direction for this podcast to go. We got like 10 days to recap, kind of, not necessarily results and stuff, but just kind of stuff we saw along the way. I want to kind of start off. We'll get to that, but Kyle Larson wins his second career Knoxville Nationals. They always do the mic'd up video right afterwards. And he, I think Sunshine, Tyler Courtney came up and told him he wasn't even trying. He goes, no, I was pedaling. I was trying a lot. But he makes it look effortless sometimes. He's that good. I wish we would have gotten a late caution or something that Gravel could have thrown something at him. Maybe not start third on that restart, but he got that big lead on Donnie Schatz out of the jump on that final restart. I think that won him the race for sure.
Yeah. With Gravel starting 22nd too. I mean, he still got to second. I think Connor, we were up in the tower and looked up. He was +9, 3 laps into the race. And it was like, holy cow.
You know how many times I yelled at Zach to say, watch Gravel?
Yeah.
It might have been 17. Like, it was
as impressive as Kyle was. Sorry, as impressive as Kyle was, I think Gravel damn near stole the show just because of how fast he was. I mean, he was definitely the fastest car. He just ran out of laps, and that's funny to say in a 50-lap race, but
yeah, I had the same thought. And I was watching our buddy Toby Balboa's video, and he said just for the Australians out there, it might not have been that much of a show because Larson led all 50 laps. Oh, by the way, he said Lawson. I still can't understand when Australians are going to put in an R where there's an A and an A where there's an R. It is one of the most conundrum, like mind-boggling things I've ever come across. And I'll hear it and I'll think about it for 2 hours. That's like, then it's out of my head. But anyways, Gravel was the show. Every car he passed to, all the big names. It's the Knoxville Nationals. I expect him to fight back, but like Gio, his battle with him was amazing. Macedo had a similar one where Gravel threw kind of a Macedo-esque slider into him, and a lap later, it was Macedo doing the same thing back, and I was like, this is epic. Like, I hope people aren't just watching the leader. Because what Gravel did throughout the field was nuts. And to win every battle, too, that's a whole nother beast to go undefeated in all those. Maybe it took him a couple laps extra to pass a car he was overall in the event faster than, but it is insane to be able to go through a field the way he did on Saturday. And I wish we had a one-on-one with them afterwards. We didn't get it in the media center, and I was just out of it and just we were done with our coverage. I wish we would have spotlighted them more, and that's probably on me. But you guys know how I critique myself and everything like that.
I just want to ask this. Are we surprised? Because the whole week leading into it, we had talked about how David Gravel, quite frankly, is probably the number one challenger to Larson going in. He has a bad qualifying night of his own doing, But are we surprised? Like that, to me, that's not a surprising thing to see him do it. Obviously, it's tough to do. I'm not saying it's the easiest thing to do by any means, but I'm not surprised that it was David Gravel that went 22nd, 21st, whatever it was, to second.
No, oh, Josh, do you want to talk? Sorry.
No, I was just going to agree with you. I mean, I think that unfortunately with some part failures or bad, tire failure with Rico going out and with Logan going out too, I think we were kind of robbed for, an even bigger show, because it would have been fun. Logan was hauling ass early on in that feature, and so was Rico. Rico had been so good down there. It's crazy. We saw 220, plus 20 or more drivers in the 360 Nationals and 410 Nationals features. But can you imagine if Logan and Rico were still up there, seeing the battles that we could have got with him and David? But to your point, I think that looking ahead a little bit, not to take us away from the Nationals, I think these next couple of races that are coming up this week, the number 2 car has to be the favorite, just because of how good they've been all year long, really.
Yeah, and it can be. I think we go into Nationals and, Drunk Dingus does his tiers and people do their rankings and power rankings. We do our rankings. Those are the damn best. And I'm not putting Freddie Raymer in my fucking top 25 for either of you guys. I looked up the entry list of the last race that he raced in at the track, because one of my PA friends was like, no, go look this up. Like, you're completely grounded in your take. And no disrespect to Freddie. I think he's fast. He tears it up with the best of them in PA. But he's racing against 17 guys that I've never heard of.
It'd be great to see if the the leading 410 sprint car winner was at the Nationals, and that's easy for me to say, as not somebody that owns a team and has to travel that far.
I can see where all these arguments.
Nice to have seen him out there.
I can see where all these debates come from, because like Pennsylvania fans are like putting those 17 guys up against the World of Outlaws as if they're the same, and I just, come on, man, like, have some common sense. The original point I got into, we got to get, at this point, I have to get Freddie Raymer on to talk to him about this, because I've like backhanded complimented him like 17 times in the past 2 weeks, thanks to Damon.
Mm-hmm.
But it's how we go into Nationals. Everyone does their rankings. We do the prelim nights, and it looked like Reitzel was even faster than Gravel on Friday night. It looked like he didn't have anything for him, but also like you're in the race, 21st, 22nd. Maybe you wanted to start on the outside. I thought Reitzel had something for those guys. The thing that surprised me is the engine program didn't show up like I thought it would on Friday. It also could have just won an outside starting spot. So I think there's a few guys that, could make a charge up to 5 or 6 or 8 or something like that to do what Gravel did. Yeah, I would say he's one of the few that could actually pull that off. Now, obviously, Donnie Schatz did it in 2013, won the Nationals from 21st, but that would have been a record. So
I think, going back to what Josh was saying about Rico, it's funny because there's not a whole lot of people that I work with that follow racing, but I was able to talk with another coworker who watched it, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't seeing something that was completely off the wall. But I think if Rico doesn't have an issue, this is a whole different conversation that we're having. Like, I think it's really Rico I think Rico was faster than all 4 of those guys, Logan, David, and Larson. But it's a race of attrition, right? Like, you can't burn your stuff up so much early that it costs you. And unfortunately, tire failures happen to Logan. That's, it's the sad reality of this.
Logan was mechanical. Okay.
Let me finish. But regardless, it's all the same shit, Connor. Mechanical car stuff, you can't control it.
So that's trying to just get you to say that.
It's all the same stuff. It doesn't really matter one way or another. But at the end of the day, it really is, at the end of the day, it really is Rico, who I thought missed out on a big opportunity. He was fast in the prelim night. He was fast all week long prior, and he's been good at Knoxville every time he's gone there. And I really think we were robbed of a Rico sighting in the final. Not to say that he doesn't get outdueled by Kyle, because I think, we're talking about the best driver in the world right now against, one of the hottest sprint car drivers in the country.
Yeah, Rico's never been better than he is right now. I'm really excited. I think there's really big things to come for him and that team, and what they're doing, him and Ricky Warner, and the speed they're able to produce. I really think those guys are on the right track to something very big. So I can't wait to see kind of what happens through him the rest of the season and go from there with that.
I want to throw this in there too, is, we can sit here and talk about, Rico having a shot or Gravel being fast, but we can't forget the fact that Larson led all 50 laps and never really got quote unquote challenged. Like it really wasn't much of a challenge one way or another. Gaps closed, traffic played a factor in some instances, but when do we see a guy in any form of motorsport dominate a sprint like that without much of a challenge? Like that was, to me, I think that was really impressive. Just the fact that he wasn't able, like he told us on Thursday, he said it in the press conference Thursday after the prelim, starting on the pole isn't the best thing in the world, because you can get monotonous in your lines. Like, and if you can't read that ahead, somebody's going to pass you. And that didn't happen.
And we did see that developing though too. You heard Gravel. I can't remember who he was speaking with. It was you, Connor, or if it was maybe even Toby's video, talking about how he could see Larson kind of hitting a little bit of the rubber that was there on entry.
Yeah,
and getting him tight.
Lane.
Yeah, and you can't see that, and that everybody could see how fast Gravel was catching him, and if Connor was advocating for a stage break there late in the second half of the feature.
No, I want a fun flag.
Yeah, fun flag.
SRX fun flag.
But I mean, if Gravel wasn't starting 22nd, it's hard to say that he wouldn't have won that race. Who knows though?
Yeah, and that's why the entire week matters. I thought the format was fine. I do need to talk about Friday night. I guess the C and the Bs were lined up by qualifying time still. I don't remember that being a wrinkle from years past. I think someone screwed up. From what I was told, there was a conversation between the officials about, have we always done that? No, we always do it like this. I remember it being the A was lined up, or a specific part of the A, like the top 8 or the top 12 were lined up by qualifying time. And that was it. Everything else was heat race results, which is how I think it should be. But I think Kyle Reinhardt might have been the actual driver that did it. But his Addicted to Dirt is his PR guy, and he just, I don't want this painted as like his PR guy's pissed off that he got screwed. It's not what it is at all. He went 9th to 4th, or someone went 9th to 4th in their heat on Friday, and still started in the B main or the C main behind drivers that didn't start their heat race.
Yeah, and I saw that on Twitter too, and I definitely get that. But I think everybody
it's Hard Knocks night has not been a thing for a while. So
that Friday night format has changed quite a bit over the years. But I think all week long, everybody knows the name of the game is to go fast when you qualify. And we had talked to a driver or two that I remember we were told about how they rank via qualifying for the feature lineup. And does it suck? Yes, but I mean, is to put it pretty brash, go faster in qualifying, and you don't have that problem.
Yeah, but you can't line up the C's and the B's by qualifying time. You can't. There's no reason to have heat races if you're going to do that anyways.
I mean, I hear you. I hear you. But the name of the game at Knoxville for pretty much ever has always been to go fast. And yeah, but to that point though, Sheldon is one that did not go fast in his qualifying night, and he was fast pretty much every other time he hit the racetrack. And he started 20th and ended up 10th, and I think was on the podium in his prelim night.
Yeah, he was on the podium. Yeah,
it shows that you can qualify bad and still make up for it the rest of the week. What were you gonna say, Damon?
I going off of your point too, Josh, is the fact that if you can't go off qualifying times for the C and the B, then what are we doing on the prelim nights as well? the prelim features were set in a similar setting. So
Yeah.
you can't do it, one way one time and then another way another time and then another way another time. Then you're really kind of confusing the hell out of people, even more than you already are, especially for the new people that the sport's bringing in
with inverts and stuff. And I
Right.
love the King's Royal and everything, but any format that incentivizes going slower at a race to me is a non-starter. So I like
think
that the Knoxville leans more towards going fast.
I do want to ask this question. Do you think we could see it as a 6-car eventually? Not that
Yeah, I know, absolutely.
But do you think we could see a 6-car invert for the prelim nights moving forward just because of how close the fields really are now?
I think it's inevitable.
That's a good point.
I think it's inevitable. And I'm not the one pushing for it because I'll continue to ask drivers that very question for the rest of my life until it happens. Because these cars are so close and it is so tough, and you end up with the qualifiers that timed in from 28th to 40th, all making the A-man on Wednesday. But it's all pointed. It all equals out because you're taking points from every time you've hit the track to figure out kind of in the grand scheme of things where you should end up or how good your night was. That part takes care of itself, and it's like, okay, you have some of these guys that are in the Wednesday A-main that was a dream of them just to make that. And those are cool those are cool stories for the sport. I think it still can happen with 6. But I think the cars are too close to where we only saw one guy win his heat race from in all 10 Knoxville Nationals heat races, the 2 prelim nights. We saw one guy do it. It was Kyle Larson. We all would agree that he's one of the greatest drivers of our generation, and obviously time will tell that story if he continues to light it on fire like he is. I see no reason to believe he won't. But I think there's not enough drivers that have a problem with 8.
And who is the invert for? Is it for the drivers or is it for the fans? Or
I think
all of that too, because that goes into it too.
I think part of it's to make it the toughest race in the world.
Yeah.
Would you agree? I throw the fans and drivers out of the equation. I think they equal out there.
I think it, if I'm someone looking into it, you're almost better off trying to qualify that 5, 6, 7, 8 spot, or, a little bit even, just outside the top 10 or just inside the top 10, that range, not even put it in the first 5 spots, because you're making it, because you're still going to get good points, right? Larson qualified 10th, 9th, something like that in his prelim night, and
9th.
9th. Yeah. So he goes and wins from 9th. Okay. Donnie was
10th.
Okay. So, similar setting, he goes and slices his way through, wins the heat race, or finished second in the heat race, wins the prelim. I think you're almost better off because you're still going to get a good amount of points. It's because I think the cars are so much closer now. You almost have to look at a 6-car, just because if you still want, I get it, the points will even themselves out, but there'll become a time where it really it won't. There'll be a time where the points won't even out as much or as easily.
Well, and here's the thing. I think it still could be 8 for a long time to come, because we're sitting here right now after the last 3 Nationals going. This format is fantastic. Aside from the Friday night catastrophe, I don't see many complaints about it. We're sitting right here with this brand new PS5 that is the 8 invert, and we're like, yeah, the 6 is sitting right over there. We're not going to move to it. There's not enough. Every driver I talk to, would you rather have an invert of 8? Would you rather have it be 6? Well, it used to be 10. I don't know. It's the toughest race to make. I guess it could be 6. Realistically, the cars are that close, but it kind of evens out. The only issue I see arising with it is that you can't miss the A-main, prelim night A-main, and still either earn a locked-in spot. Well, yeah, I would say, and still earn one of the top 26 lock-in spots. That's the only type of deal that I kind of want to see there. But that makes those B mains really, really competitive. So I just don't talk to enough drivers that hate the 8 invert. And if I did talk to enough drivers that hate the 8 invert, I'd probably be very bullish on changing it to 6. But
Well, a lot of drivers that I saw complaining about it weren't even at the track last week too. So
2 of them that I know of.
Dude, hey, I hate talking about people and not mentioning their names, so I'll just say it was Danny Diedrich and leave it at that.
Yeah, and I like Danny, but that is a long haul. I get it.
But there's other guys from that way with a much smaller budget than he's got that made it.
Absolutely, and it's I don't know what his deal is against the format. He got wronged by it once. I've seen what he does in his driver preparation for the race on Saturday. I won't mention anything. I don't want.
Also went into his factor a few years ago too. He made the A main because he qualified really well.
That's right, exactly. And it's I don't know what his deal is with the Knoxville format. I think it's one of the best ones in racing, and I'm sure if I asked him what his perfect one would be, it'd be like some Saturday night local show at what is it called? Selinsgrove?
Selinsgrove.
I know. I'm playing stupid.
You don't have to.
I bet Danny would get on here and talk too. I bet he would be a fun guest.
We tried that once, and I wish we would have introduced ourselves that night. I wish it would have happened, but we did try that once. And
okay.
No, but I'd love to have him on here. I would love to. I want to see how what his character is in his face and how he's saying it, because it's really easy to take words. People did it during the race Saturday. I sent out an update, and that conversation came up with Dirt Tracker's video today about how you do your race updates during race. We put context in ours. We do a lot more than forgive me for throwing out names and shitting on people all over this podcast, but we don't do the Jim Utter P5 to P1. Or sorry, not P5, but number 5 to P1. New leader 57, right? We don't do that crap. We put context into things. And I was talking about Gravel fighting Gio, and I was like, Gio won't let up in all caps. And at the break, I'm reading a comment on it that's like, well, yeah, what's he supposed to do? Let him pass? And it's like, that's not what I'm trying to say whatsoever. But it's very easy to read words and take them out of context. And I mean, it's no secret that Diedrich comes off as a whiny little bitch on Twitter.
I want to hear their reasonings as to why they don't go.
Yeah, there's never a reason with it, right? You don't get that part of it. You don't get. So I would love to have him on here, get his thoughts.
If a format is the reason you're not going, then you're in it for the wrong reasons. Like, you're in the sport for the wrong reasons. So I just want to know why you don't go to one of, if not the biggest race on the schedule.
Oh, it's the biggest. It's the Super Bowl. It's the biggest party. It's the biggest.
I don't want to talk about that.
No, you're good. I want to talk about the event on this podcast too. Like that, I kind of wanted the first part to be result based, and I think we've covered all the important stuff. I do want to give a shout out to Carson Macedo and I told him this, running that flame paint scheme. There's people out there. I'm one of them included. And I'm tighter with Carson. I knew he wasn't shy about talking about his accident or anything like that. But there's people out there that would be. There's people out there in the announcing booth that would be, fans that would be nervous to ask about his accident. For a guy to get lit on fire, and he's like, almost immediately I asked, can we do the flame paint scheme at Knoxville? That's fucking sweet. Like, they all know it's dangerous. They all know that. And it's
Didn't he say like this was like something that Dietz had already thought of before he asked for it too?
I think he said he told me he might have still been in the hospital.
I was gonna say somebody
said it was almost immediately after.
I knew he said that they were already talking about it, but I thought like when they brought it up again to be done, I think Dietz already had like a idea in mind.
Well, I think Blackbeard did it, right?
I don't remember.
I would assume so. I could be wrong about Blackbeard, but I assume he's
that talented that he had to render back to him in 30 minutes. I'm probably tuning his horn up too much, but he's fantastic. He impresses me with everything he does.
As far as the results before we start moving out kind of and zooming out and looking at the entire event, I think it was pretty sweet. If you look at like local teams and people that made the finals, the A main on Saturday, felt like they were pretty well represented. You have I know he's on the All-Stars now, but the 55 is based out of Knoxville with Kerry. He hasn't been in that ride for that long. But then you had Chase Randall that ran really well, went toe to toe with Donnie. In the feature, one of the nights, they all blur together now. Sorry. Wednesday. Brian Brown, Ian Madsen. I mean, he has only raced that car, 2-3 times. Right. He put it in the show. You had Reitzel, Dusty Zomer is another one that had kind of a struggle early on in this year, but the dude, Danny Lasowski, is turning the wrenches there, and it seems like got him pretty comfortable. Davey Heskin.
Lock in. Like he locked in points. That wasn't even a come out of Friday or come out of the B. He was
12th in point. He was 12th, which is pretty damn awesome for that team. Davey Heskin and Scott Boguski.
Cool.
Those guys were awesome. Plus, running 7 races a year, it seems like nowadays with Hunter Schurenberg and the Swindell Speed Lab team, they locked it in too. So really, I think there was really cool storylines throughout the week, as per usual at the Nationals. It's the best week of the year.
Yeah, I completely forgot about. You should have seen my reaction, and I should have jumped off camera. I've had 4 chocolate milks today. I think
that's great.
I'm on my second quart bottle. Well, when I'm trying to recover from stuff, I just drink chocolate milk all day. I don't know why. It's a weird thing I do.
Sounds like a terrible idea if you ask me, but anyway.
It helps your muscles recover. I'm not speaking.
Well, I'm glad it helps your muscles recover, but if it comes back up, it does not look good.
Or if it goes out.
Yeah, I don't plan on puking it up later or drinking too hard tonight or anything like that. I completely forgot Chase Randall gave Donnie Schatz the battle of his life on Wednesday.
Dude, that was so cool. And he was pissed afterwards too. You could see it immediately after the race. He was very upset that he didn't close that out. But I mean, you want to talk about a rising star, coming.
I think it got to him by the time I talked to him, because he had been congratulated to by everybody that he walked in front of.
Yeah, that was really, really cool.
Yeah, the whole week, what Knoxville does, there's nothing like it. There's not a post-race press conference. The drivers are passing fans as they go to it to go. There isn't one that plays music as you walk into it, and that's a press conference in itself. It's not done anywhere. The press conference.
And it was so popular. I heard so many great things from fans about how that was really cool that they could actually go and see that. So hopefully that's something that sticks around.
I love it. I hope that sticks around. I hope that post-race concert moves to I don't know what band did Friday night. That's talk about perfect location and perfect band for it. And I guess the rumor is that they're splitting up. That was the last show they played together, which that's just
going to go out.
Absolutely insane. It makes a lot of sense why they were partying so hard, because right after I took the video showing it, this girl gets up on the microphone and gets way up into the crowd. Her crotch is in the middle of at least 7 people in the front row's face. And she's like, "Knoxville, Iowa, are you ready to get drunk?" And I'm like, dude, it's 1:48 in the morning. Everyone in here
we've been drunk. We've been drunk for 3 days.
So, but I hope they get people like that, because it is challenging to get, either one band to play 4 days or a big singer on Saturday. You have options on where to go to, and it's really difficult to get a big name in there. So you got to find a name that is going to party with the dirt fans and really respond to crowd energy.
Yeah. And even moving back a few days before Friday, you look at the Tuesday night kickoff party, and there were thousands of people.
You need to talk about that, because I wasn't able to go. I was setting up the RV.
Yeah, it was so cool. I mean, I'm working with Methanol Moonshine, shameless plug, and the AMP Pub and NOS Energy Drink, along with the city of Knoxville.
We're partners. It's not a shameless plug.
Yeah. And the track. I mean, I think they said that they were expecting anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 people to fill the square at Knoxville. And that's a lot of people in a little space. And there was so many people that were down there. Steel Panther was the headliner that closed the night out. They couldn't do most of their usual stuff because I heard that it can get pretty vulgar. But
what is their songs? Because I never heard of them, and someone asked me if I had, and I couldn't.
I think we might be a little young for their
Okay.
demo, but they did like rock. What's that?
Are they like a JV Kiss, but like with funnier songs? Is that
JV Kiss?
I think so. I don't know. The covers they did were really, really good. So it was a great
Don't put them down that far, Damon.
They do covers. They're a C team.
Oh, they're a cover band?
I don't know. They did covers that night because here, I will read you their Wikipedia.
Yeah, please do. This is like, I can't tell if this is Zach Brown band that, okay, also I'm still pissed. I deleted the video of Merrill yelling at Sabotage that I told him I would never post anyway. at Speedway.
They're a comedic glam metal band that are known for their profane and humorous lyrics. So
now I'm pissed I didn't get to see them.
They sound like they're right up your alley.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like what I want to see.
Profane lyrics. That's exactly Connor.
It said comedic too.
Oh, I missed that.
I don't like cussing for the sake of cussing. If you're going to give
Connor's not that funny.
Cussing when I do, then like, I don't know, listen to more of me and understand like when I'm putting emphasis on things, I probably just put fuck before it.
I don't know. You kind of just throw them in there.
We've lost the boat, by the way, on this episode of explicit tag stuff.
Yeah, you just throw them in there to throw them in there at times, though.
Sometimes I do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
I try not to be too careful with it. I just want to get out of my mouth what my brain is thinking in real time, and sometimes that's a challenge.
God, please don't do that.
Dangerous thing.
That's the wrong answer.
Okay.
We will never get to make it where you want to make it.
I meant kind of in conversations like settings, but sounds good. We got to talk about more of the great things they did. The skydiver delay, and I know I just train rolled that into another negative. I shouldn't even say another negative. It's one negative. That it was just delayed. That's the first time they tried to do it. At least all 4 skydivers landed in the front stretch. I view that as a positive. It can't be easy with all the metal fencing around. There's a lot of places you could like miss it by a little bit and get screwed.
And at least in the grounds there, I don't know about you, Connor, that felt like that was really the only time things really felt like they dragged on.
You
had some bad wrecks early on too that didn't help because it was like right after that, and nobody ever wants to see that. And thankfully, sounds like both who was it, Cody Island and Matt Covington have both were not seriously injured, which is great to hear. But that's unfortunate and part of racing. But that coming right after we had to wait a while for the people to fly in.
Yeah, and two things on that. Like, it didn't feel like that for us because you're watching me sit here and try to post stuff as the internet continues to get worse through the night.
Or find the skydivers.
Yes, eventually. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Trying to find the skydivers. We had been looking up for the past 8 minutes trying to look for them. And we saw a plane like circling stuff, and we're like, "That's it. It's got to be it." It was like 8 minutes later, and said, "No, don't think that was the plane." But I do need to. The team knows who they are. But I do need to tell them thank you so much for always being so great to us. They gave me their Wi-Fi password. And I will give one shout out to Elon, who, aside from his Twitter operations, this Starlink thing, innovative, it sells, it works in every aspect that I've seen. It works fantastic. And
tons of teams are getting it too.
Again, the team knows who they are, and I love them to death. I love all of them to death. And I can't wait to get to know them in the future. But thank you so much for allowing Always Racing to be able to post things during the race on Saturday. That's the only team. I know they don't want to shout out, and I don't want to blow up their spot so that other people run up and ask them and stuff like that. But we will give them enough coverage, and you guys don't worry about it. If you come ask me separately, I'll let you know. If you ask me with the purpose of buying a shirt or something, I will tell you. But that.
Another team that deserves a shout out is the team at Knoxville. I think they kill it every year. There's
Jim and Angie Uttermark are two of the best like humans in the world. Jim's photo finish, stealing of the Capitani Classic trophy was one that I'll never forget. But seriously, they put on like those people in the team around them, in Jason Reed, like they make
first year GM.
Yeah, and Kendra can be credited with some of these ideas that she's put into place. She put all these things into place with a foundation and a potential to grow. And almost all of her ideas that I saw executed in real time as I got to know her, it's so cool to see that it's just risen the entire event, and it's put it leaps and bounds over every other dirt racing event I've ever been to, almost every other racing event period I've ever been to in my life. It's a top 3 motorsports race in the world, and that's my take. And Max Pappas thought it was top 5 last year. That's still, go watch that video on our YouTube. It is one of the biggest damn motorsport events, and it could not be done with all the fine people around Knoxville.
Absolutely. Couldn't buy a ticket or a pit pass come Saturday.
Yeah, the pit passes. Now, I do wish that they would say, like, we have a number of pit passes that we're going to sell. Because the people I was talking to in line, I was up there with one of my friends buying a pit pass for them. And all the information that they got was you can only buy Saturday pit passes starting at 2, and when they're out, they're out. There's no allotted number. There was no anything like that. So I don't know when that call gets made. I wish that was numbered and more information was given out about tickets like that. And I know it's tough at a dirt track, you know, there's not another event you have to worry about that with. And the whole sellout thing, and like people were mad that they couldn't get tickets and stuff like that. And it's like, it's sold out a week before the race. Like, that's nuts. That's never happened there before. Like, hopefully those people understood that. But that's kind of on them to get that it's a big race and you got to buy your tickets early. Elsewhere, aside from, we can talk about our stuff, because like Wednesday I was glowing. I thought it was the best 4 days of coverage we've ever had. You guys kicked ass. I wanted to touch on the infield beers videos. Derek Kessinger told me we're not allowed to do them anymore. No, I'm just kidding. He was like, "BU, grow the sport." He loved it, I think, all things considered. He actually messaged me Saturday morning and I missed it. Damon, you guys can all blame Damon, because it was 6:22 on Saturday morning, and I was like, I think I'm just gonna have to pull an all-nighter. He goes, "Nope, you have to go to bed, Connor." He was right, but I slept until 11:30 after that. But I missed. What's that?
Was that Saturday morning?
Yeah, I was correct. Or you were absolutely right.
I know I was.
Would not have been good, vice versa.
Listen to Damon. When in doubt, listen to Damon.
Yeah, no.
I told him to go to bed at 5:30. He managed to stay on the phone with me for another hour. So
I was not on the phone with you for an hour.
It was pretty damn close.
I thought it was like 15 minutes.
Well, it was a lot longer than that. But anyway, continue on.
But the infield beers videos, I think we're gonna keep doing them for at least for nationals. It's probably gonna be circumstantial. So like, shoot me tweets when there's a story or a guy you would want us to do them with. There is kind of some prep work in finding someone with beer, or bringing beer ourselves.
I think you should
we can work on that.
Yourself.
Yeah, we can be a little more prepared.
I don't want to bring a cooler of beer to every race that I cover.
Why not?
We get Dave to help us out. Dave will take care of us.
Say, why the hell wouldn't you want to?
We're gonna have to get Dave his own sponsorship.
Just get him hooked up with some sort of local distributor.
Damon, did you see his the tweet I made about my dad on Saturday?
Yes, I quote tweeted it.
It was so good.
He says stuff like that every 10 or 15 minutes that you're just like, oh my God, like I wish we had a microphone for this guy.
He's a legend, man.
Absolutely is. Absolutely is.
Oh, I was just looking at
a video crew just to follow Dave around.
Oh my God. He's just making friends left and right, talking to anybody.
Can we pay you to do that since you can't come cover the race on Saturday with us 2 years in a row?
Oh, that's fine.
Just put a GoPro on Dave and just see.
We'll put it on Damon and we'll just
put a GoPro on Dave. That would be worthwhile watching.
Yes.
You'll get a headache about 10 minutes in, but I think just the conversation, just turn the video off and just listen. You'll be a lot better off.
I would be painted as such a douchebag for how much I yelled at him Saturday.
Yeah, you would. You yelled at him on Thursday, for that matter.
I yell at him all the time. I worked with him for 10 years before I started writing about sports.
You should respect your father.
I respect him. He's had to deal with you for quite a while, too.
Well, shit. Yeah, I don't envy that either.
But no, the reception to the infield beers things was pretty cool. Tasker
gave a pretty
phenomenal one on Wednesday, and then, I mean, we had great ones the rest of the week. I didn't die trying to walk backwards. Blake helped me out on Saturday. It was a fun time.
Connor wanted me to die on Thursday, by the way.
They go way faster than you think when you're walking backwards and you don't know where the hell you're going. It's like, holy shit, we need to slow it down.
I told him to slow down once, and he just kept trucking on, and we're getting closer to the track, and I'm like, I know there's wet spots up here, and I'm about to bust my ass.
Yep. But we survived, Damon. We survived.
We did. We made it.
It's live TV, fellas.
That first one with Tasker.
I'm being patient.
Tasker was great. Because I wasn't going that fast, that first one with Tasker. You were slow. You were being considerate. You were a good guy. And then as the week went on, you just picked up the pace. And it's like, well, we can't continue this shit.
I know. And I told Jason, I was like, all right, we're going to just take a nice leisurely stroll because we're coming in the gate out of turn 4.
I changed Josh's.
We just took right off.
You should have put some Heelys on, Josh. It might have been better off.
Dude, I think it would be better if you fell and then got right back up and we didn't lose the audio.
No. I would never live that down because I saw Toby caught somebody falling. I would have gotten lucky and been captured falling too. No good. Give me Heelys and somebody can pull me so I don't even have to move.
At that point, we'll just get you on a pit bike or something.
That sounds even more dangerous.
Just right on the back of a UTV.
Okay, now we're talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
I did that Thursday. I only skinned up my elbow a little bit. So.
You fell on the back of a UTV?
Off the back of a UTV.
Nice job.
Babysitting is hard work, man.
Babysitting you or?
No. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I think you're the one we worry about more than anybody else.
Yeah.
I wasn't even like stringently babysitting. The one I was babysitting held on to the UTV. I was probably the one getting babysat.
See, that's what happens normally.
The light just came on, Damon.
Yeah.
It finally clicked.
Yeah.
5 minutes into the conversation.
I don't know. I heard some quotes about what he said that night. I don't want to say anything else about that. Oh man. No, but insanely fun week. We started doing those live videos. We really adapt on the fly. And what I told everyone that I met was, feedback is much appreciated. And let us know if you don't like something right away or anything like that. Or if you have an idea, I'm very, very much all right giving you credit every time I post that. You guys, he probably doesn't even mean this, but Derek Kessinger will be getting a shout out in every Infield Bears video. Like I'm going to find unique ways to do it, just like we do the Carl Auto Group ads. But
yeah, because he does such a great job. I mean, those are so great, like every freaking time.
Yeah, so that's our goal, to do great stuff and make them really cool and do what we can. So I appreciate it.
A really, really important question.
Yeah.
What if you go to a place that you want to do this with somebody, but the infield is really small?
Outfield Bears.
Outfield.
Yeah, it writes itself, dude. Come on.
Well, I had to make sure you understand that you got to think on the fly. We're trying to prepare you.
We'll do it so that we'll make sure one of you
just go to one of these bull rings and you're just tiny little circles going around. You get me dizzy going backwards or Josh dizzy going backwards.
Yeah, we're on lap 4 around the infield here at wherever.
We're hot lapping ourselves at this point.
I think my next Infield Beers I really want to do is having whoever is meaner between Damon or Josh film and will walk out of the hauler during engine heat at Huset's and then zigzag across the pit. You can see all the cars coming that way, and you're safe.
Yeah, I don't want to get yelled at. I saw somebody getting yelled at before.
That's a tough one. But yeah, I mean, we'll adopt on the fly. I want to make it different so it's not the exact same. I want to go back and watch some of Derek's other stuff and brainstorm ways we can put our own spin on it so that we can differentiate a little bit. But everyone knows that he's the inspiration for that. They're very fun to do. I completely get the excuse to drink while you're working now. It's fantastic.
Well, and on a serious note too, I mean, you get a different view of the drivers. Like, it's not your typical, how'd you do tonight? And, get those kinds of answers. You kind of at the end of the night, and they're maybe a little more relaxed, and you get to hear a little bit more of their story and whatnot. So that's the cool part about that got to see over the last few days.
I try my best to never ask boring questions. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I get nervous. Got nervous in that Larson video this week and talked to him about that. And it happened again later in the week with somebody else. I put so much pressure on myself in what I do in covering these 4 days and this entire week. Like, it's the Super Bowl because it is. And so when something's not going perfect, or I don't know, if I'm getting too much in my head, like I start getting the shakes on my hand and I'm asking shitty questions. I wish it didn't happen. It just does.
You're human. You're human. Shit happens.
I'm human to a point. I don't know if any other human is what I am, and a big sprint car fan and does. You
would be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Nah, don't worry. I just work really hard. I do have one other shout out. Yeah, I don't know how much longer we're going here, but you're good.
He's my buddy, Cade Higday. That was pretty badass what he did the last 2 weeks. I think he may have been the only driver ever since they've included the 305s. He's the current Pro Sprint Series championship leader. And he entered every single race that they hosted down there over those last 2 weeks with his small family team that's based out of Knoxville. And I just wanted to give him a shout out because I thought that was pretty badass.
No, you shouldn't. We need to get him a statue.
Give me a Higday statue outside of turn 2.
Give me like 15, 20 wins and we'll get him a statue.
I'll hold you to it.
You already promised him a ride. You can't keep promising him a lot of stuff.
I promised him a lawnmower engine that could fit inside a 360 sprint car.
I'm telling you got to quit promising stuff.
I'm working on getting a couple wings for the apartment wall on some deals, so I can't wait to see what those
full-size wings?
Potentially. I'm sorry. Potentially comes on what the wings are. The sizing is determined.
You may have missed your chance on Friday because there was a shit ton of stuff that you could have picked up off the.
I want wings. I want wings of my friends in racing. The one I got up there right now is just a Josh Richards one. I didn't know him very well, or Clint Boyer very well, but I want all my friends' wings.
What's wrong with that? Josh Richards is a good one to have.
What? Yeah, he's a good friend to have.
No, I mean, it's a good wing to have. Might as well keep it.
I'm not going to throw it away. It's still up there. I mean, I want wings on this wall, so it is our backdrop on the podcast. But yeah, I'm not going to throw it away, Naaman. It's up there already. I'm saying for like me and like my career, like when I was a kid, I used to chase autographs with my dad because I would just get really hyped to see a driver for 5 seconds and have his autograph on a piece of paper. Right? Today, it's like I want their autograph. Like, yeah, I love sprint car t-shirts, so I always wear sprint car t-shirts to support the sport and help these teams get out there. I say that wearing a damn Brad Sweet shirt. Like, guys, as big as it gets already.
What about the Bobby Pierce shirt that you wore to the 360 Nationals?
I have a rule. I do not wear a t-shirt of a team that's competing in the race that I'm covering.
Wasn't it a Charlie McKenna one? And didn't he win that night that you wore?
Yeah, he won that night, and it hasn't always race day logo on it.
I gave him shit about wearing a late model shirt.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it.
To a big sprint car event. but it did have ARD on it, and he won, so it canceled each other out for me.
I do not have anyone's anyone's car on my shirt when I'm covering a race unless it's like an emergency situation. I had to go get something out of my bag or something like that, or a few sits where it got really cold and Henderson gave me one. But yeah, now at this point in my career, I want like wings of my friends that help me make it in racing, and I'll pay for them. But and I hope they're in good condition and not really wrecked.
I was gonna say if they're
Now,
giving
if I'm hoping for wings, I can't hope for wrecked wings.
if they're giving them to you, they're probably not in the best shape.
Right, exactly.
Unless you're giving them a pretty nice chunk of change.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I will just like I want to remember stuff that my friends said with some unique, like I've always hated fake plants. Like, oh, look at that chartreuse Bruce Barry over there. Like, screw that shit. There's a fucking sprint car wing on the wall, dude. Let's talk about
Josh
that.
was looking for his spruce thingy that you were.
I just threw suffixes, and Josh, it's over here.
You gotta get some of these, man.
Yeah.
That looks like a piece of cardboard.
It's a piece of metal.
I'm looking for a big one.
Well, you can make them bigger.
Get a big piece of metal.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Kevin and Kurt from across the way in the RV parking lot I was at, or the grass lot back there. I'll be out there for 10 days next year, and I will get there to drink with you guys. Why are you pointing at me, Josh? You're throwing me off.
I was just copying you.
I will get down there to drink with you guys at least one night next year. I was only down there for 4 nights, and we were doing infield beers every night, and ended up with Trunk Bar 3 and 4 for partying. So I never got back to the RV to actually sit down and have a beer with those guys, but they love what we do. I think it was Kevin, Kurt, and Shane, and I messed up one of them for sure. Maybe not, but hopefully they watched all the way through this. Maybe we curtailed them with Danny Dietrich propaganda. Do you guys have anything else? Are we good? I loved what Larson said in his press conference. Go back and get go back and listen to all of that and get the proper context. And real quick, before we go, Tanner Holmes is going to be in the Shark Racing number 1A car for the rest of the season, in substitution for Jacob Allen, who was originally out of the car for a mental health break. There hasn't been an updating statement on that. I would assume it's related to the same thing. So hope Jacob is doing all right, and I am very psyched at this opportunity for Tanner. He seems like a great kid. One of my buddies shot photographs for him. It's really cool to be able to see what he's been able to do in sprint cars just with the YouTube channel. So we'll see how he does. He ripped it during the entire week at Nationals. It looked like he was getting better. So I'm excited to see what his career turns into.
He gave you a good interview too. And I know he doesn't necessarily like the YouTube kid or whatever people call him. And I think what he's doing.
Gerlach came up to me right after we did the Tanner interview, and he goes, "Man, he was like really good." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's almost like he's on video every day talking to people."
Which is great. Like, it's great for the sport. I mean, I think it was the first night he was down there at Knoxville, just in a weekly show, or maybe it was the All-Star race. I don't remember. But you could see just the line of kids that probably watch him on YouTube and wanted to be there. Well, that's the next generation of race fans. So you got to have that. And I like with what David Gravel, and I think Logan was doing some YouTube stuff. I know Sheldon is as well. The more that we get people, or drivers rather, that are engaging in that way, I think it's only better for the sport, and it gets young kids at the racetrack. And that's why we sell out the Knoxville Nationals Saturday night, like a week or whatever in advance, because it is that big of a deal.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty cool just to see what everything that we knew it was this turned into this. I think that's the biggest aspect about sprint car racing, is how much it's always changing, and especially silly season this year. Like, massive, like just every week something new. Here's something. We're obviously not complaining about that. We're just trying to keep track of them, right? But like structure wise, how everything's set up, how every series is set up, who's racing for what, who's racing where it is always changing, and I think that aspect can be a negative, but for the most part, it's pretty turns out pretty cool. So thank you guys for listening to this one. We'll be back on the normal schedule Wednesday. I don't think we'll ever do podcasts during nationals.
There's too much going on.
Yeah, I just don't I don't value sitting down for 40 minutes at night to recap the night unless it's at 4 a.m.
Yeah, no one's joining it at that time.
That's
the infield beer stuff.
You're a quitter, Damon. Josh would say he would try to and then not do it.
I think the infield beers and stuff like that is a lot more value in that.
Yeah,
and we saw that with the reception of it too.
Yeah.
Like people really enjoyed that. So
I didn't get one person asking where the fuck is the podcast network.
Damon, that was Damon.
Damon texted me. That's the unknown number that texts me.
I went and created a burner number.
Not that we want to throw the podcasts away. I hope you guys enjoy them. We try to make you laugh. We try to give you some inside information from what we can say about things that I otherwise wouldn't put on Twitter or on a story or anything like that. And we try to do what we can to make it big, and we appreciate you listening. It's just how we cover Knoxville Nationals is a different beast, and maybe someday it'll change. Maybe we'll be walking around with a podcast microphone and do a 40-minute deal with whoever walks up. I don't know.
Maybe they'll put us on the stage.
I don't even. Can you imagine Connor on the damn stage?
I don't need a stage. I want to do a show. I want to do a show at Dingus.
I'm not talking about Connor.
I want to do a college game day show. What are you saying, Damon?
Well, if you'd stop talking, I'm gonna put Josh and I on the stage. We're leaving you off. You're not good enough for us.
All right, but I want to be. Oh no. No, I can't. I can't say that.
You want to be what, Connor?
No.
We'd have Connor and Dave posted up over at Dingus, just going through the crowd, and we.
Honestly, it wasn't that funny. I just show up drunk in a mascot costume and falling over stuff.
I think that would be a blast.
Glad I figured out.
Last week was a blast. To be serious for a sec, I had a hell of a time covering it with you guys, and thankful that you allowed me to do so. And just wish that Damon, you would have been able to hang out for all 4 nights, but. It was fun when you were there.
Yeah, really, for all the positives that we had this week, and I mean there was like 2,000 of them. I thought there's too many people that came up and said thank you, and too many people that introduced themselves to me that I can't remember their names. And I appreciate everything that was said, and that means the world to especially me in building this and what we're trying to do with it. But thank you guys. I do. It's not a waste of time. I want to hear about how you. Heard about us, how you started watching, stuff like that. And it does mean the world to get positive feedback like that because it goes a long way, especially to me. The only negative was Damon wasn't there Friday and Saturday, though. That sucked.
I agree. That did suck.
Sometimes
it is.
Sometimes you got to live life, Connor. Sometimes you got to live life.
Did you skydive on Saturday? What were you doing?
No, I told you what I was doing on Saturday.
I know. I forgot. I just forgot.
Shocker. It's okay. It wasn't that
hopefully next year.
It's fine.
Hopefully next year you can make it.
What are your odds on next year?
I don't know, Connor. That's 362 days from now.
That's 352.
All right, cool.
It's the best 10 damn days of the year.
Yeah, well, I can't do that.
You can't put things on a calendar?
Not right now, my God.
I just bought my $25 sprint car calendar at the Orange Trailer across the street from Knoxville this week.
I'm glad you can.
I wrote it down already. The dates are in there. It's set.
Good for you. Congratulations. I'm glad you can.
I love it.
We finally got the man speechless. It only took us like 130.
No, I'm realizing that when we hit it big, I'm going to have to paying like signing bonus contract figures to Damon every year just to be there for 4 days in August.
You're going to have to pay.
Because he's put me in a situation where I'm like, I don't even know what he goes and does. I just know he usually can't be there on Saturday, and I really want him there, so I guess I'm going to have to give him $1,000.
It's called leverage.
You've done well with it, honestly. If it was a slow play to do this, I completely could see it too, because I completely believe it. It feels so intelligent on your side. Because
Well,
I thought
it
the
wasn't
funniest part of
intentional.
this whole thing is I'm like kind of like sleep ridden the entire week at Knoxville because I'm trying to do so many things. And I read Damon's original text, and he's calling me Wednesday, and I'm talking to James McFadden, and then I'm about to interview David Gravel. I turn around and Damon's standing down there. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And he's like, "I told you I couldn't make it Friday and Saturday." I said, "I'll be here Wednesday and Thursday," and I was under the impression he was only going to be there Thursday night, and I was so confused.
I'm glad I could surprise you.
So I don't even know what text I read of yours that maybe I just read the words and nothing else. But
You just like to read what you want to read. That's fine.
I do
Everybody
too.
does.
Everyone does. Yeah. Yeah.
It's understandable. I'm just glad I could bring some joy to your life for once.
It's only you and Tasker. That's it.
That's it.
Those are the two. Oh, I got to give a big shout out to what the hell, Josh? You act as though that was like a
Sorry,
dig
Josh.
at you.
I'm out.
All right. We'll add in Josh. We'll add it. Davey Heskin gave me the biggest like bro hug after he came off the podium Friday, and I thought that was really entertaining.
Dude, it was so cool watching him just come in off the track and screaming at Scott in front of him too for making it.
He is just a perfect dude.
Yeah, him and Matt Morrow are the perfect match together. They're both great, and that was Matt's first ever lock-in to a Nationals A main too. He said he wasn't able to do it as a driver and hadn't done it as an owner until last Saturday. So it was really cool.
Let me tell people his Twitter. No one knew it Saturday. It's like
Whose Twitter?
Matt Morrow's.
You just followed us back, by the way.
Oh, good.
Nice.
It's right at the top of your page.
It's at Matt Morrow 2M. The last time he tweeted was February 20th, and it was a retweet. And then
I was going to say, he just needs to be active on it.
Yeah, the last time before that was March of 2022. His profile picture is very much it's from 2010. So it looks like an account that hasn't been used, but that happens sometimes. But I wanted to tell people he is on Twitter.
He's like Matt Kenseth on Twitter. You get one tweet a year.
Yeah. Maybe he'll retweet the Heskin video in January, and that'll be the one.
There we go. I like it.
Be incredible exposure for us.
Yes.
So we think the world out of everybody, especially out of them, and everyone that came up and said thank you, and the whole Knoxville Nationals experience. I'm just trying to brainstorm stuff and get ready for next year at this point. I can't wait for it to be here, and hope it gets here quick, honestly.
I know the end of the season's coming already, which is crazy to think about. Sad to think about, but we'll be on track again before we know it.
I do want to put this note at the end. I won't be at Huset's or Jackson. We had too much stuff at Cyclone Fanatic, and I'll put this out on Twitter tomorrow as well. We had too much stuff at Cyclone Fanatic to reorganize and to get prepared for, and I didn't feel comfortable taking any time this week to go out to those events. I'll be in an RV Saturday at Eville for the drag race and kind of get a vacation day to myself and my dad and a couple of our friends from Knoxville that are going to head over there that aren't racing in Jackson. I hope the Jackson Nationals goes back to a different weekend, but it's totally a selfish thought, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, we just had too much stuff to get organized this week for me to be able to do that. So apologies to you guys. Just didn't want to work myself to death going into college football season where we really don't have, it's kind of like repetition 5 out of 7 days, like you're working your damn ass off for 12 weeks in a row. So I just didn't want to do that and put all that into disarray and stress so that when we cover stuff, we can cover it correctly and not just half-ass it. Yeah, I almost said like some people do, and I was like, I couldn't think of anyone that does that. So I don't want to say that whatsoever, but thanks again to everybody. And I hope you enjoyed what we did. I've said it enough already. So you guys got anything else, Josh, Damon?
No, I agree with you. Thank you. It was great. Had a great time.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.